Although many things have changed over time, one thing has remained the same: the way Jungkook and Taehyung seek each other out and understand each other. Since forever, whenever Jungkook has a camera, his first impulse has been to focus it on Taehyung. Whether they're in the middle of practice, in a waiting room, or just hanging out, he'll grab the camera and start filming or taking pictures as if he already knows what to do. This time was no different. Thanks to a recent update from J-Hope, we once again saw that signature moment where Taehyung poses naturally and Jungkook simply watches him through the lens, as if that moment belonged only to them. Seeing Taehyung pose isn't new, but when he does it for Jungkook, it has a different kind of energy. It's not something they do for attention or for everyone to see. It's rather something they share with each other, and one that has happened many times before. Only now, after a while without seeing those kinds of interactions, it reminds us again of what's always been there. What J-Hope showed was something that probably would have gone unnoticed if we didn't know everything behind it. Because every time one appears with a camera, the other is ready to show themselves as they are. What happens with Taekook feels different from what is usually shown with other people in the group. When Jungkook is with the favorite, there are almost always staff, lights, cameras, and a lot of preparation. Everything is designed to be seen by others. But with Taehyung, what is shown happens in more closed, quieter spaces, where they are almost always alone, and that gives it another value. The images of Taehyung that Jungkook takes don't seem part of a project, but rather something that is born just because. As if the important thing isn't sharing it with the world, but rather preserving a moment between them, a moment that isn't repeated the same way with anyone else. It's easy to see that this way of being together hasn't been lost. Even though they're not always at the forefront of everyone's attention or appearing together in every official video, things continue to flow between them as before. In the new images, Jungkook is seen taking the time to capture Taehyung, as he has so often since the beginning. Always finding the right angle, meticulously handling each shot, as if he knew him by heart. And in the way Taehyung lets himself be seen, it's clear that this kind of connection remains strong. What they shared now wasn't huge or highly produced, but it was enough to reconnect all those memories that many thought were distant. We saw again the Jungkook who always finds Taehyung with his gaze, and the Taehyung who knows when to show himself. We felt again that closeness that is often off camera, but that hasn't disappeared. There's no need to repeat it every week or give explanations. What they show, even if it's a little, still says a lot. Because when they are together, the way they behave remains the same. Lately, some fans who support J-Hope have been reacting very intensely to everything seen on social media. Recent images show Taekook spending time together in a very natural way. They were seen going shopping, sharing their gym routine, and moving around as if they were in their own world. What has caught the most attention is that no one else was with them, neither team members nor anyone around. In contrast, those who defend the idea of Jungkook with his favorite only have a couple of scenes in a recording studio, where J-Hope and several other people were also present. This difference has generated comparisons and many questions that not everyone knows how to handle. What we see between Taekook is different. There are no external cameras, nor third parties recording their moments. They use their own phones to record and seem comfortable just being together. They are not surrounded by movement or people watching what they do. This has made some people feel uncomfortable or even annoyed, especially those who cannot accept that the connection between the two has been constant for a long time. They struggle to acknowledge the obvious, perhaps because they're more accustomed to following what's shown to them from other angles. But Taekook doesn't respond to those expectations. They go at their own pace, unconcerned with what others want to see. There's a very clear difference between these kinds of moments and those that appear with other members. While some are always shown with people from their surroundings or in situations that seem planned, Taekook lets himself be seen in spaces where it's just the two of them. They don't seem to be trying to hide anything, but they don't flaunt it in an exaggerated way either. They simply share what they want, when they want it, as they have for a long time. This constant closeness has made many begin to see things differently. What was once considered a coincidence is now beginning to be seen as a very real way of living together and sharing. There are those who insist on denying what happens between them, perhaps because they are so attached to other ideas they have been defending for years. But that hasn't changed what Taekook continues to show. Every time a new video or image appears, it's clear how much they enjoy being together, how they understand each other without needing to say anything. There's no need for anyone to tell them what to do or how to act. That freedom with which they move gives their moments a special value. And it's not because they say it with words, but because they demonstrate it with actions that are repeated over and over again. Recent updates have only reinforced what many have already noticed. The way Taehyung and Jungkook spend their time together is unlike anything they see with others. They seek each other out, they accompany each other, and they show each other as if nothing else matters. Although there are those who still resist accepting what exists between them, the truth is that each joint appearance makes it even clearer that their bond is present. And beyond what others think, what matters is what they choose to share, something that needs no embellishment to be real. There's something very special about the way Taehyung and Jungkook understand each other. They don't need to talk much to know what the other wants or thinks. Sometimes, just by meeting their gaze, it seems like they already know everything. It's as if they're having a conversation that others can't hear. Many people try to compare that kind of connection to what happens between other members, but what they have is different. It's not about staged moments or following a routine so others will notice them. They just act how they feel. And when they're together, everything flows with an ease that doesn't need to be explained. They're not looking for anyone's approval of what they do. They just spend time together in a way that feels very natural. There are thousands of examples that show this without needing to be said. In several older videos and also in more recent ones, there are patterns that repeat between the two of them. For example, when they're walking among a lot of people, they always end up close to each other. Sometimes Jungkook reaches out his hand, and without thinking twice, Taehyung takes it. Or when one laughs, the other looks at them and smiles back. It's as if they're responding to signals only they understand. The most interesting thing is that it doesn't matter if they're surrounded by people or if there are cameras pointing at them. They continue to act the same. They don't pause to show something. Their style doesn't change depending on the location. This consistency is what has made many people start to notice them more. There's a kind of harmony in their way of being together, as if they always know where the other is. It also often happens that in common situations, like live broadcasts or rehearsals, they look for each other without saying anything. If Taehyung is focused on something, Jungkook silently approaches and stays by his side. If Jungkook is busy, Taehyung waits nearby, without interrupting. These small moments are the ones that stand out the most, not because they're big or surprising, but because they happen frequently. They don't do anything to stand out, but it's still easy to notice how they accompany each other. They don't have to do flashy things for people to realize they're paying attention to each other. And that, over time, has created a very clear image among those who have followed them for years. An image based more on consistency than words. One of the most memorable scenes occurred during a recording, when all the members were present. While everyone was talking, Taehyung and Jungkook were doing their own thing, sharing something small, a glance, a movement, a brief touch on the arm. It wasn't something the others interrupted. On the contrary, it seemed like the moment belonged to them. In another similar moment, Jungkook was seen watching Taehyung from afar, with the calmness he rarely displays in front of others. And Taehyung, without turning around completely, seem to sense it. There aren't many words to describe these kinds of situations, but those who have seen them agree that they aren't casual. And they're not things you often see between people who only share work. When the favorite is present, the dynamic between the three is cordial and relaxed. But it only takes Taehyung being alone for everything to feel different. Not because they changed their attitude, but because there's a closeness that's noticeable even in the silence. In many behind-the-scenes videos, you can see how they strive to be by each other's side. They don't hide, but they don't make an effort to show themselves either. They're just there, walking together, talking softly, sometimes without even saying anything. It's in those moments that you most perceive what they share. They don't need to put it into words for it to make sense. And although many people try to find explanations, the truth is that some things can only be understood when they are felt.